Hi, my name's Amanda, and I am a knitter on the eastern coast of New Hampshire. So I have been away for quite a while. Unfortunately, things got a little hectic between November and now, and I wanted to do one more before the end of the year. So, um, one of the things that threw a wrench in everything is I technically won a trip to the NASCAR championship race in Phoenix. And so it was supposed to be for just like a couple nights, and we extended it so that it was a full vacation. And so obviously I took my knitting with me, and I took only socks. I took a couple of basic socks, and then I took some pattern socks, and that's all I brought with me. And so after I got home, I finished quite a few. The plane ride was 6 hours one way, and then one of the days we were in Arizona, we drove from Phoenix all the way up to the Grand Canyon, so I had quite a bit of car knitting too. But in no random order, I finished the crisscross socks. These are some of the Knit Crate socks that I had gotten. So here's the first one. It's a nice cable, and here's the second one. So these are done. I finally hit the strings on this pair of just it's the Peyton Patton's Croy sock yarn. This is the colorway Penny. So I finished that pair, and then I did the mulberry stripe ones. I finished the landscape stripes. And I finished the gray marl ones, which everyone tells me looks like monkey socks. And I did finish one other pair. Unfortunately, I wore them. And it's the tourmaline stripe. I'll put a picture in because I haven't washed them yet. I do need to wash my socks, but I have to clean up the spare bedroom before I can wash them because my husband does not like the smell of them, and if I put them in the spare bedroom, at least we don't have to smell them. So those were all my finish. I finally finished knitting all the stars for my blanket, and I just finished hiding the strings in the blanket this morning. So now I have to attach, and it's literally all these. I have them in groups of 5, and so I have all the stars in it. I just need to lay them out and attach them to the blanket, and then that will be done, which is really nice because me and a friend of mine, we had a bet going, and I had basically stated, here's all the projects I have already started at the beginning of the year, and she challenged me to finish 10 of them, including one of the 2 blankets I started. And I couldn't finish the other blanket because it's a scrap blanket, so it's going to go on forever. So I decided to do the flag blanket, which was not too far along, but it's also a worsted weight. So I got that knit, and now I just need to finish it out. And then So I have one pair of basic socks on my needles, and that is more of the Peyton's Croy. This one is in the Clover colorway. So I'm on to the leg on the 2 pairs of socks. So I kind of have them going, and this is what's left. I just need to finish knitting this up and then put the cuffs on both of them. So that's nice. I've been trying to work through some of the other projects that I have going on and not necessarily just knitting basic socks all the time. And I will warn you, there is going to be some crinkling because the apartment I live in, we have an issue with carpet beetles, so I tend to keep stuff in plastic bags to try and prevent them from eating my yarn. So this is the Acorn socks. It is a Knit Crate pattern, and I am knitting it in the yarn that they sent with it, which is this one. And the color I got was Spa Day, which is just basically tan. Now I didn't follow the pattern completely because they wanted you to do short socks, and I don't mind short socks, but they're not. I like kind of in between. I don't like the tall socks, and I don't like short socks. They're kind of like just medium socks. So they originally, there was 2 options. You could do like a folded over cuff, or basically you did ribbing and went straight into the heel flap, but I wanted to do the pattern, so I did the pattern a few times, then did the heel, and now I'm on to the foot. But it's a really pretty pattern. So, and this is the first sock. This is the one I've been working on at work on my lunch. So I only get like a half-hour lunch, so it's not a lot of time, but I figure it's better than nothing. So that's that one. And let's see. This is a sock I pulled out to take to Phoenix, and it's another Knit Crate sock. I've gotten a bunch of them for a couple years now, so I'm trying to knit through them. This one is the August of 2020, and it's called the Cactus Flower sock. This is what it's supposed to look like. And I had it knit, I had the first sock knit to past the heel, but I didn't think I had knit it right, and I think I had been reading something wrong, so I ripped it all the way out, and this is what I kind of got to since then. So, not much. It's kind of, I've put it back in the spare bedroom just so that I can focus on a couple of other projects. But that's definitely one I will be working on once I finish up either the socks I take to work, or I have another pair of socks that I kind of leave by my couch. So once I finish one of those, I'll be setting that, working on this one. And that is in this yarn, which is the yarn they sent with it. And let's see, another sock that I took to Phoenix. And I know I've showed it on here before, is the December of 2019 Knit Crate sock, the Holly socks. And I had realized I made a mistake, and I had ripped the sock back, so I'm up to about here now. And it's a really nice short pattern, so it won't be bad. So I'm just working, I had worked on that a bit. Not a lot, but all my socks turned in, like 3 of them turned into ones that needed cable needles, so I kind of can't work on them all at the same time. I tend to lose cable needles really easily, so. And that is out of this yarn, which was the yarn they sent with the pattern book. And then the one that I've been working on more from out by the couch is actually the runaround socks. And that's the picture. And it is one of their yarns. The yarn they sent. I honestly don't have the fail band in the bag anymore. It's somewhere in my living room. So I have finished one sock, and it's got this really pretty like scalloped cuff, and you knit it and then you fold it over. So I have that, and it worked out perfectly that the pattern that they've written out for like the gusset decreases and everything. By the time you got done with that, the like knit till this far from your end of your foot, and I basically was at the point where I just needed to go into the toe decrease. So, and then I casted on the second one, and I'm just starting the scallop edge. So I'll keep working on that, and hopefully I can finish at least one more pair, if not 2, before the end of the year. And then the only other thing I was working on was my smooth stripe shawl. And this is a Yarnspiration pattern, and I am doing version 1, I think. I know I thought about this. Yeah, I think it's version 1. And I had to literally type out all the rows because I couldn't follow, because there were so many, do this so many times, repeat this, change these colors while you're doing these many increases. And so I had to type it out. I just couldn't. So it starts, and there's going to be a ton of strings tied. So it starts here, and then you go through all these large blocks, and then you go into these like one stripe sections, and now I'm back on the large blocks. And so I have this color, you do like a really big chunk of it like this, and then you go back to the light blue, this blue, and then the dark blue, and then I'll be done. So I'm almost done knitting it, and then I have to work on hiding all the strings, because it was like this split up different colors because it was part of their Pantones. So that is that. So as it usually happens, you know, we're heading towards the new year, and you start thinking about what you want to do next year. And I would like to continue working down the projects that I have already started. I think I will be, if I can finish my blanket and take the picture of my sweater that I've technically finished. I just haven't taken the picture. I will be down to 16 projects on the needles. So I would like to obviously work on those. Um, and I would also like to continue trying to not purchase yarn because I have a lot of it and I would like to use it. So I want to, and I think I have patterns slotted out for some of my yarn, and I have 37 projects picked out for different yarn in my stash. So I would like to knit some of them, because that way I can at least use some of the yarn. And I have a bunch of like sock yarn still, so I would like to continue knitting socks, even though I don't really need socks. But I like knitting socks, so I'm going to keep knitting them. But I also have a bunch of acrylic yarn, which I would like to make into, stuff that can be, if nothing else, donated, because I don't need a lot of it. I'm not knitting for family gifts anymore, with most of the family that has moved to Florida. So I don't want to just like get rid of it. I want to use it. And I have one of those knitting looms that you crank the tubes out with. So there's definitely a bunch of stuff I can do with that. And so don't have like, I want to finish this many projects, or I want to knit these many things, or this much yardage. I just kind of want to work on projects I've already started and use the yarn that I have. So I need to set my reading goal. I don't know what I want to do for that. This year I had picked 50 and I kind of went over. I know 100 is hard because that's a lot of books. You gotta read almost like 2 a week to do it. And I do listen to a lot of books, but I don't want to be like listening and reading for the sake of just finishing the book. I want to enjoy it. And I do tend to have like these gaps where I can't find any new books I enjoy, so I reread or re-listen to books that I have already read. So I might go with 75, because I'm already up to like 69 and I still have a little bit of time. But I would like to read more of the books that I have, so I might just keep it at 50, because reading a physical book is a little bit more time consuming than like listening or e-reading. So, but I would also like to try and go through things, get rid of some stuff that I don't really want anymore. Feels like some of the stuff I'm not going to use, and I need to just let it go. But so I need to figure out my goals and what I want to do, and just keep knitting, because it makes me happy. And this guy is one of my, I knitted him a few years ago. There's a couple other ornaments and stuff on the tree. This is my little snowman. Him and his nose and his scarf. So I have him. I finally managed to do like a French knot for the eyes and everything. But he's just hanging out there. I have the 3 Christmas hooligans on the tree and a snowflake I knitted and somehow wonkily crocheted the border. I also need to work more on my granny stripe blanket because I've finished a lot of socks that haven't put in it. And I know there's a couple other scrappy blankets that I wouldn't mind working on. I really want to do the brioche one if I can ever get it going, because for some reason I'm struggling with that, and that's more on me than anything else. And then I do have the northeasterly blanket, which seems like it would be nice. And I do have a lot of scraps because other than like the 50-gram balls, I can knit, like, I'm still gonna have a good chunk of this left over when I finish knitting this pair of socks. I do have small feet, they're like 6.5 US size normally, so I will usually end up with a good chunk of yarn left over from a 100-gram ball. Ooh, I know what I need to do. I need to grab the yarn I got because I went to a yarn store in Phoenix. Just a second. This is actually part of the reason why I decided I did not need to buy more yarn next year. So I went to, it is Tempe Yarn, and it's close to the University of Arizona, the Sun Devil one, and I liked how they had it set up because like they specifically had sections where it's like local dyers, which is where I ended up. But I got a sundial yarn in their simple sock. There was no colorway, but that's so pretty. And this is actually purple, and it's like a blue and a green and a purple. Unfortunately, lighting is not great. So I got that one. And then I got this Desert Panda Fiber Arts in their squishy sock, and that's the name of it. But it's so pretty, and all the speckles. I really like the logo. I'm a sucker for a logo. And then I got Less Traveled Yarn. And this is the Sock Sonata. This is probably going to be the best way because I cannot pronounce things to save my life. And then I got Nitty Kitty bags, and the name got me. Bunny Trails. I love seeing the bunnies by my apartment. And then it came with this matching one, so that was really pretty. I was putting all the yarn that had accumulated in the living room away, and I'm like, I need to quit buying yarn. So, and then the last one I got was Gecko Yarns, and it is in Thinned Indeed is the colorway. And I don't know, because this was in the clearance, so I'm not sure that they're still doing anything, but it's so pretty. Let's see, Desert Panda. Yep, that was everything I got in Phoenix. And then the last few of my knit crate yarns that I got this one, which is Afterglow. And then I got, like, it's not that bright, but it's a nice yellow, and that is in Golden Birch. So, unfortunately, my mom usually gives it to me for Christmas, and this year she said that she wasn't going to be able to do it, which is fine. I have a lot of yarn. And she's like, well, you can always just, you know, take over the payments. And I'm like, no, I'll just take a break, and it'll give me a... Ow! It'll give me a chance to kind of, like, work through some of the stuff I already have. And then come to find out, like, just recently we got an email stating that they were going to no longer be a company, so... Which is kind of sad. I didn't mind them. Like, it wasn't an extremely overpriced sock thing. And you got a skein of yarn and the patterns and then, like, the little one other thing. So it's sad to see them go, but what can you do? So I had stopped, and I had stopped at Hobby Lobby a couple months ago, I assume, because it's been a while. And I got some more of the Hatton's Croy sock. This one is Adrift. I got Northern Lights, which is so pretty. And for those two, I'm going to be doing the heels, toes, and cuff in this saltwater colorway. I have a colorway. I could not find it. It's a lot of, like, tans and whatnot. I know it's in the bag with the color I was going to be doing the heels, toes, and cuffs, but I couldn't find it. And then I got the colorway Midnight Orchid. And that one I'm going to do the heels, toes, and cuffs in plum. That just looks so pretty. And it worked out because I'd been struggling. I have this colorway that I bought back when I bought all the other ones. And I was struggling to figure out which one I wanted to do with the heels, toes, and cuffs because it's really dark, but the black wouldn't look right. And I think I was leaning towards, like, the gray or the fawn. But then I got this one, and I'm like, that'll be nice. Because there is a bit of purple in here. It's hard to tell in this lighting. But there's a little bit of purple. So I figured this will be nice just to kind of, like, complement it. So I'm going to do that. So hopefully next year I can be more consistent. I would like to keep it at the every couple weeks, but I tend to think about it and then not do it. But I'm hoping to be more consistent in the new year and try and do more things, knitting and otherwise. So, well, if you've made it to the end, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good holiday and end of year wherever you are, and I will see you next time.